Hi, and thank you again for joining me for You Would Think. I am not going to post a full video on day 7 and day 8 of Lindsay Clancy's trial. I kind of made a summation of it in writing on a post on my Facebook page, and I will link that in the description if you'd like to check that out. I did, however, want to make a video regarding the medical examiner's testimony yesterday. And, you know, of course, I'm sure by now a lot of you have already seen, that Lindsay is just sobbing as this medical examiner goes through in painstaking detail the autopsy of little Callen, who is the 8-month-old. And I don't know, to me, this prosecution seems really heartless and cold. Like when you listen, I'm going to play a little bit of the video for you, but when you listen to the questions and the way that the prosecutor almost backtracks on certain things to make her say it twice, just to make sure everybody heard it. I don't know, it really, really just rings cold to me. And in general, at this point, my opinion is that, the prosecution is just, I feel like it's a witch hunt, right? Like, there hasn't been really any evidence. There's only been maybe a couple witnesses who have testified regarding her mental state, which is the central question in this case. The prosecution is putting on, witness after witness after witness to prove a crime occurred, and they have been stipulated, the defense has been stipulating the whole time, yes, we know a crime occurred. Like, they've even stipulated a certain evidence twice. Like, judge, okay, we get it. Yes, the toxicology is correct. Yes, the DNA is correct. Yes, the crime occurred. Yes, Lindsay did this. Okay, let's move on to why. And was she under a type of postpartum psychosis that would relieve her of her criminal responsibility and essentially put her in I think the outcome of that would be putting her in a rehab of sorts for a period of time, aside from just throwing her in jail and throwing away the key. Like, come on, guys. But again, this is a trial channel, full disclosure. Again, we discuss trials, we talk about trials. I'm not a lawyer, I have no law degree. My degree is in crime scene technology and forensics. And I started this channel because I wanted to get your perspective. And I also want to say I really appreciate the support from you guys and the, staying active with the videos and your comments. I really, really appreciate it. So, as always, comment down below so that I may address them. Like and subscribe, please. And I'm going to show you some video of the medical examiner testifying about baby Callen on day 8.
Were of Callen when you started the external examination?
Yes. So Callen had some therapeutic procedures in place, or therapeutic equipment in place, including a thermometer in the left nostril, a nasogastric tube in the right, an endotracheal tube down the throat. We measured him at 26 inches long and 24 pounds. He had general edema those are the general.
So when you were talking about therapeutic things, are those things that were done by a medical provider at a hospital or some such setting?
Correct.
Okay. And what do you mean when you say he had general edema?
It means that he had his whole body had more fluid than one would expect in a person or an 8-month-old who had not been in the hospital. It's very common for someone coming from the hospital to have had been given fluids such that they have excess fluid and swelling.
Did you make observations of any injuries or trauma to Callen?
Yes.
Okay. If we could have photo 9960.
So this is where the judge steps in. And remember on one of my previous videos, I was talking about how I really appreciated this judge's candor with the jury when really difficult emotional evidence is about to be played. And he just gives them a soft reminder and warning about what they're going to see, and a reminder that as jurors, you have to be able to separate your emotion from logic and, you know, make a decision of your verdict based on factual evidence that you hear in this case and not your emotion. Because this is a very difficult case, and I think that we all can agree. So the judge is going to give that instruction like he did before the 911 call was played. He's going to give that instruction again. And I just wanted to point out yet again, this is one of the reasons I really do like this judge.
Let me just, members of the jury, I just want to give you, kind of revisit that instruction that I talked to you last week about. If you may remember, we talked about before they played that tape. All right. I just want to remind you that sometimes evidence is presented in a trial that creates emotional reactions. But as jurors who've taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you, as I did last week, you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and the weight from the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of the photographs and testimony that you're going to hear this morning or throughout the whole trial as well. So you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. But you can't find those facts or base those facts on sympathy, anger, passion, prejudice, or pity against either side. So I appreciate that. I just kind of wanted to remind you of that. And with that, come on.
Thank you, Your Honor. So photo 9960. Is that on the screen, Doctor?
Not yet. Yes.
Hand you this here.
Okay, thank you.
If you could just describe for us what we're seeing here in this photo.
So this is a photograph of Callen at the time of autopsy, and I'm showing a ruler underneath his neck, where above which you can see abrasions, and you can also see some needle marks that I mentioned from therapeutic procedures on his arm.
I'm sorry, if you could use the tool, pressing the top button there, just to highlight the area you're talking about, the abrasions on the neck.
Right here on his right side of his neck, and then in the middle of the neck, and on the left side of the neck.
And if we could now have photograph 663. If you could tell us what we're seeing here in this photograph, Doctor.
This is another photograph showing a bit more closely, again, the abrasions of the neck. There's one on the front of the neck, the shorter one that's about half an inch long by 1/16 inch. For those more familiar with the metric system, a centimeter is 2.5 centimeters is about an inch. A 1/16 of an inch is about 1.5 millimeters. So this is half an inch by 1/16 inch. And then on the right here, this is about 1.5 inches by a 1/16 inch.
And then showing 9952.
May I go back to that for 1 second?
Go back.
For one.
Could we go back to that photo, please? 9960. I'm sorry, 663.
I just want to point out between the ruler and the abrasions, you can see a paler line. That's a normal infant neck fold. That's not a injury.
Thank you. And 9952, please. If you could just point out for us here the injuries of significance to you.
Here, sorry, I think I did that.
We could go back to the prior photo, please.
I got it.
It's the top button.
Yep. Okay, so these again are the abrasions on the left side of his neck, and there's the one on the front of his neck. In addition, on the left side of his forehead is a 3/16 inch by 1/16 inch abrasion, and I think you can also begin to see petechial hemorrhages, which are dot-like hemorrhages underneath the skin on the face.
And what are petechial hemorrhages?
Petechial hemorrhages occur when there is rupture of the small blood vessels underneath the skin surface, and they are from an overpressure of the small blood vessels such as capillaries or venules, and blood escapes out and makes a dot-like hemorrhage.
We could have photo 9954. If you could explain for us what we're seeing in this photograph, please.
In this photograph is Callen's right side, also showing the back of his neck. So that abrasion that could be seen in the first photo showing the front of his neck, that abrasion continues along about 3 inches in all toward the right posterior back of the neck.
And if we could have photo 9955, please. Is this a close-up photograph of what you just described?
Yes, I can show that right here.
Thank you. Could we have photo 636, please? And if you could describe for us what you see here in this photo, Doctor.
First the abrasion is in poor focus, but it's in the picture on the left side of the photograph, and then the most in the photograph, one can see those petechial hemorrhages better along the cheek, on the eyelid, all of those.
We could have photo 654, please. Can you describe what we're seeing in this photograph, Doctor?
Yes, this is an abrasion near the hairline on the right side of the forehead. So as the vessels are compressed, if there is a backup of blood in the head, there can be an increased pressure in those small blood vessels that I mentioned, and they can rupture, causing the petechiae.
So basically, is it similar to a balloon filling up, but it's not air, it's blood and pressure in the face?
Yes.
And so when that pressure gets too great, is it that the capillaries are basically bursting and causing those little red marks?
Yes. Most texts say capillaries, some say venules, the small blood vessels.
And how is it that this process, the strangulation by ligature, causes death physically? How does it physically happen?
So the blockage of blood either both to and from the head or just from the head will cause a lack of oxygen to arrive at the brain. And there can be an element of airway compression as well, such that the lungs can't oxygenate properly. So that lack of oxygen is what causes the brain to die and the organs to fail.
And based on your examination of Callen, did you come to a determination based on your training and experience to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to the cause of his death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Complications of mechanical asphyxia.
And why is it complications of mechanical asphyxia instead of just the asphyxia itself?
Because he was resuscitated, and so his heart began to beat again. So from the 24th to the 27th, there was a continuation of support of his organs to in the hospital. And so if he had a stopped heart at the scene, and in that case I would have just said mechanical asphyxia, but since there was a 3-day hospital stay, I said complications of mechanical asphyxia.
So the word complications doesn't mean that something happened at the hospital to cause his death. It's just that the strangulation caused his death, but he didn't die for a few days.
Correct.
Commonwealth would move to submit the autopsy photos as the next exhibit.
Same objection. Same objection.
Commonwealth would move to submit the death certificate of Callen Clancy as the next exhibit.
No objection. That may be admitted.
I have nothing further.
All right, so yeah, I'm sure that you can kind of see what I mean. I mean, at one point, the prosecution even asks the medical examiner in a detailed example of how the asphyxiation would occur on an 8-month-old baby, and she likens it to a balloon filled with blood, and how the oxygen, can't get to the brain, causing the brain damage, and also not being able to get to the lungs, causing multiple organ failure. So again, I don't think all that was necessary. But tell me what you think in the comments. Thank you again for joining me for You Would Think, and please like and subscribe. Have a great day.